Greetings, greetings, and welcome to Conversation with Tony Mobley. On Conversation with Tony Mobley today, I am having a conversation with the artist, Mr. Daniel Flores, artist and brand ambassador, DTM. DTM. This is episode 12 of 2024 of Conversation with Tony Mobley, and we are back. Thanks to everyone for being a part of this new journey powered by Mimo Live. I want to thank the team behind Conversation with Tony Mobley for all of your hard work. You can watch Conversation with Tony Mobley on conversationwithTonyMobley.com and, of course, YouTube. You can register for our interactive chat. It's called Mukana, courtesy of Alex Lindsay in 090. Mukana gives you the option of asking your questions, and those questions can be voted up and down. That's right. That's right. And it should be in your YouTube chat so that you can ask those questions. Again, welcome to Conversations with Tony Mobley. And we're going to get started right away with my guest for today, Mr. Daniel Flores, DTM. Hello, sir, and welcome to Conversation with Tony Mobley.
Hello, Tony. How are you doing today? I am very happy to be here, and it's good to see you once again, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited about our conversation. It's been about 2 years since the last time you were on with me, and we
Mm-hmm,
had an
mm-hmm,
amazing conversation. And
mm-hmm.
so I'm looking forward to our conversation today, and we're going to get started. For those who don't know who you are and have not had the opportunity of watching our last conversation, who is Daniel Flores?
Man, that is a good question. Who am I? A 2D illustrator, artist, creative person. Of course, I am a husband, father, grandfather, son, brother. Got a cool, super amazing family that's been very supportive of my art career. But ultimately, my number one passion is art. So I've been drawing all my life, and anything creative, I get into it from digital to traditional arts. I'm there. So that's who I am. Hmm.
That's
Very
amazing,
short.
Daniel.
Okay.
I appreciate that. So we're going to go to our next question. And
Okay.
Daniel, I want to ask you a question. I am hearing this amazing music. Are you hearing the amazing music?
Yes, it's very good. It's really awesome. Very soothing and relaxing. I'm ready to take a nap and sip on some wine. Have-
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Okay. So how has your family contributed to who you are and what you're doing now?
Well, growing up, I've been drawing all my life. So growing up, I was always drawing. And no one, well, when you're growing up and you're the only artist around, there's not too many people who know how to draw. No one really thinks that art is a career, right? No one really tells you that drawing is something that you could earn money from and make it your business. And so, my mother and I, my brother, we grew up in the church, and it was people in the church who would hire me, commission me to do posters for the church. And so I never really talk about this part, but it's like, I got a chance to show my talent to somebody who appreciated it. And as I got older, I never understood school, college, or anything else that most people would do. And I just said, you know what, I'm gonna figure out how I can be a full-time artist. And so by the time I got to Atlanta in the 90s, I was hungry for it. And I was constantly drawing, constantly sketching, meeting people, talking to people. I remember my first Dragon Con and meeting artists and being amazed at how it was not the best looking artwork. It wasn't the best looking comic book, but it was a comic book, something that they made by themselves. And so
Oh,
I
wow.
wanted that. Yes. And so by the time I met my wife and started dating, and then we got married. Well, by the time we started dating, she was very supportive about the things that I can do as an artist, the things that I am able to achieve, and saw the potential. Whereas to me, I had been a working artist already by then for a long while, and I was able to get my mom on board that it's okay to do tattoos on people because being religious and tattoos is not a cool thing. And but as I grew into the relationship with my wife, she saw the potential and started giving me business advice on how I can handle certain things and do some of the deals and conversations with clients. And man, she's been at my side for the past 17 years. And
Fantastic.
it's yes, thank you. And it's been that constant working together, having somebody who's a logical, reasonable person, and then me being the creative artist that I am, trying to do the fun stuff. It's a good combination to then
Absolutely.
have someone on your team to then help let you be the artist that you can be. And so, yes, my wife is very instrumental in this. My family is very instrumental. My daughters and my son is very supportive of what we do. And my son and my daughters have been the doorkeepers at some of my art shows. And they're the ones who
Oh,
charge people at
wow.
the door. And they don't
That's
care who says they
fantastic.
know Dan. Like, I know Dan, I'm here because then they're like, I don't care. You got paid to get in and stuff like that. So yeah, it's I feel very fortunate to have had this opportunity to express myself, be passionate about what I like to do, and then have a support system.
That's fantastic. What do people need to know about you that they don't know?
Hmm. I like to post this every once in a while on Facebook, and I like to say, there's something about me you may not know. I like to draw, and of course, everybody knows that I like to draw. If you even ever connected with me, no, but that's the truth. Is that drawing is not just uh, an activity, a pastime, or just a business. Like you meet people at let's say a restaurant or some the dry cleaners, and people are surly and they act like you're kind of interrupting their day. And I'm like, yo, man, this is the business. You work here, you want customers, and then there's a transaction. And and that's because they took the job. They saw the help wanted, they need a job, and they did it, which is nothing wrong with that. But that's not why I do art because there was a job opening. I don't do art because that was something that I'd rather do versus working at a steel company or driving a forklift because I've done those things. Work landscaping, I've been a cook, I've done lots of things. And so I do art because I really love it. I like it so much. I don't want to do anything else. And I dedicate my every breathing, thinking, waking, dreaming moments into more art. Like I'm always thinking about more art, more art, more. Like what is it that I can do here? What is it that I can do there? How can I flip this? How can I try that? And I'm constantly inspired. I was looking at your website and I was looking at your pictures and videos of you and you can see hair the hair changes and the beard changes and all those things and like that's a character. Like I'm seeing that right now and I'm inspired. Like that's a character. That I think
Well,
that
thank you.
if there was
Thank
one
you.
thing, you're welcome. If there was one thing people don't know is that I really enjoy art and I don't want to do anything else with my life but create art.
That's fantastic. We have a question from Clark Lopez Waterman, New York,
All
New
right.
York. Do
All
you
right.
doodle for fun or just draw for work?
I doodle for fun. I doodle when I'm happy. I doodle when I'm sad. I doodle when I'm upset, when I have anxiety, when I doubt myself. I, you know, and of course, this happens with any relationship and personal relationship, business relationship, and just transactional relationships. You get upset and time to cool off and sit down and think things through. And drawing has been my haven, my heaven, my haven, my safe space. I feel nothing but relaxation and joy when I draw. And so a lot of times I share every little thing that I draw just because we're in economy and society where social media is super important. But I got thousands and thousands and thousands of drawings, and that never see the light of day. Nobody will see them. Nobody knows they exist because that's what I enjoy doing. So I have sketchbooks and loose leaf paper, and I sit there and scribble. And now it's digital, a lot of digital stuff, and I'll scribble, and I just want to see what happens. And those are the happy artworks where you're not really trying to do a job. You're not trying to have a finished drawing about something. You just let's see what happens. I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen out of this drawing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And Clarlock is back with another question. Have you ever done a big mural?
Yes, several times. I've worked on lots of murals. I actually started my first mural helping a friend. That's right. A friend of mine got a contract to do a mural in a salon. And so he called me up. He said, "Hey, man, I need help to work on this mural." I was like, "All right, what is it?" And I don't think he had even had a real sketch of what it was going to be. Somehow he made the deal, got paid, and now he had to make a mural and stuff. And so I said, "Fine, let's go, let's do it." I wasn't afraid. I like drawing big, and so I got to meet the owner. We talked about it. I'm still friends with the owner to this day on Facebook, and so we're 2 nights in a row because we had to wait till the salon closes to then move things out the way and get onto the wall. And so for 2 nights in a row, I mean, we just sat there and started drawing big. And I like indoor walls because they're smoother. And so I started drawing big and painting, and we knocked it out in 2 days. And ever since then, I've been hooked. I The first mural that I did on my own, I convinced a friend of mine to give me money to buy paint so I could do a mural at his recording studio. And so he agreed to it, and I got started painting. I made it a community event. I invited artist friends to come and hang out, and we had a good time for a few days just sitting there drawing. I have murals in downtown Atlanta. I had a mural on West Atlanta, what they call that, West Midtown. And most recently, I had a mural on the Beltline, and but I started that mural digitally. I did all the work on the iPad and on the computer, and then I took it to the printer, and they printed it really big, 36 feet long, 8 feet tall. And then I picked up the banner, they printed on vinyl, and then I went and installed it. And I have that in my portfolio. It's on my blog, and it was up on Beltline for a couple of years. But the construction is finished, so they had to take down those walls, and so it's gone now. The actual art installation belongs to the company that paid for the curation of the murals. And but yes, I love drawing big. I can go in deep with the details and show my passion in my art.
That's fantastic. Let's. Why don't you share your website for everybody? I'm going to
Mhm.
share it a little bit later, but I want you to share it right now if you can.
You want me to talk about it or share it on the screen?
Just share the actual web address.
Oh, the I see. It's so I have several, but my main art only website is The Creative Genius, DA creativegenius.com. That one is just about art, every thing that I do with illustration work. And so I don't know if that's the one you were thinking of. I
Yes, it
have
was.
Delta Tango Mike. Oh, that was it? Okay, because I can go down the list.
Please, please,
Oh,
please
down the
share
list. I
share.
have
Yes,
Delta Tango Mike, and Delta Tango Mike is everything about me because my artist name is Delta Tango Mike, but my title is The Creative Genius. So my Behance, my LinkedIn, my website is The Creative Genius. And then I also have an Instagram for The Creative Genius. But then my artist name is Delta Tango Mike. So I have everything Delta Tango Mike. You can just type it into Google and everything will come up. Fortunately for me, I started my branding. I did not know anything about branding. I knew about bragging. I knew about reputation, and so fortunately for me, I have a very cool and very specific name, Delta Tango Mike or the Creative Genius, and so Google has all the info about me. If I use my regular name, Daniel Flores, I'm sure there's like a million other Daniel Flores out there.
Absolutely. I'm sure you're right. Clara
Uh-huh.
Lopez Waterman is back again, and he says, have you done any animations?
Man, yes, and I want to do more. And as a matter of fact, we kind of got in a little conversation behind the scenes earlier about Mexicans and Chicanos, and because Tlaloc is the Aztec god of rain in Aztec mythology. And so I have a comic book, animation, and game idea, and I have the artwork for an Aztec character. It's a Mexican character that then can traverse the worlds between the human world and the Aztec mythology god world. And uh
Oh,
and
wow.
so he's a super cool character. I use him a lot. I don't have all my stickers here with me that I can show it off, but I started to draw the character with the Aztec gear on. And so I want to see my art. I'm a 2D illustrator artist who likes to draw characters, and I like to see my characters move. So I've been learning all about animation. I've been learning all about making games so that I can not just tell the story as a flat illustration, not just tell the story as a comic book, but I want to tell the story and see. I want to see what my character looks like when they're doing stuff, you know? And so yes, I worked in animation. I worked in animation projects and big time stuff as part of the pipeline because I make the art for the characters, and then animators come in and then they make the characters move. And so I worked in several projects. I worked in a feature film as a part of the long list of artists. Like when you finish watching a movie that has animation in it, you see like 1,000 names. My name is in there.
All right. Fantastic. But
Yeah.
can you share the name of the
Uh-huh.
movie? Can you
Yes,
share the name of it?
My Little Mermaid. Yes, My Little Mermaid, and it was a live action film, not the latest one. Let me see, maybe 10 years ago, 2016, 2017, something like that. And
Okay.
so I have to look it up to know for sure what year it was, but it was around that time. And my job was to clean up the artwork. And so when you look at, because in that movie had 2 minutes of animation in the beginning. So as soon as the movie starts, it's animated, and then 2 minutes later, then it goes into the actors and all the normal people stuff. And my job was to clean up some of the artwork, some of the background, make sure the character is ready, and then after the flat artists do their work, then animators actually move things. And that's the kind of animation I want to do, and that's what I want to do. I want to be able to move things. It's tedious and boring, but when you do it and it takes so long to do it, and when it's finished, oh my God, it's amazing. I love it.
That's exciting, and that sounds fantastic. Um, and and did I hear you say earlier that you are self-taught, that you haven't had any training?
Well, yes, yes, and but let me clear up what it means to be self-taught. And the reality is that no one is self-taught. What I like to say is I didn't go to school. I did not take any art classes. I don't have any degrees. I don't have any certifications. All I have don't have any awards. I think I did get one award once. But I don't care about any of that stuff, like industry and galas and things. No, I don't have any of that. I don't have diplomas. I did graduate out of high school. That was it. I think I'm the only one who graduated out of high school in my mother's side of the family and my cousin's level. But what I have done is read lots of books, and I started my art career in the 90s. I've been drawing for a long, long time, but I actually started getting paid to draw in the 90s. I started my tattoo career in 95, and so that's almost 30 years, I think. And so but I had plenty of proof of work. I had a portfolio. I didn't know. I didn't go to school, so I didn't know what people, artists did with their portfolios. But I've been to plenty of art stores to see what the portfolio looks like, and they're like, oh yeah, let me stick my artwork in those sleeves. And so throughout the years, I've befriended many, many artists. I've asked lots of questions. And so when people say the word self-taught, I mean that it means not gone to higher education classes. But the reality is no one stands at the front of the board teaching and then sits at the desk at the same time. That's self-taught. No, what happens is I know a lot of artists. I know have a lot of friends. I've asked a lot of questions. I collected a lot of software. I collected a lot of art materials, and I've experimented. I've listened to feedback from other artists. I've tried things out. I've gotten better at it, and along the way, I keep finding new things that I want to learn. Like we talked about animation, watercolors is something else that I want to get into, and so all along, I've been a curious person who's interested in nothing else but art.
Okay.
Does that sound like a good
So
answer? I know I can go long,
that's
man.
that sounds like a great answer. And so
Okay.
we're going to share your
Hmm.
DTM. And so our
Right.
audience is able to see that now. And so
Okay.
can you see it?
Yes, I can see it. It looks beautiful.
Okay.
That's me.
And so so I'm going to scroll through it just slowly. So those who are watching,
Sure.
and
Hmm.
is there anything particular that you want to point out, like
Yes, if you scroll
this?
right up, go back up a little bit, right
Okay.
below my picture, there's a short film right there. Slow down right there. Stop. You see that YouTube button? You don't have to click on it, but
Okay.
below my picture, there's a little video, and you don't have to click on it now. But anybody who visits my website will see this little short film. I think it's like 3 to 4 minutes. I wish it was like 30, because I like to talk and share so much. But no, the amazing and talented Will Fegans came by my art studio a few years ago. I think right as the pandemic had begun, and so he came by. He filmed some moments with me where I was sharing a bit about my background, a bit about my inspiration, and so that's that little short film. As a matter of fact, Will Fegans has filmed over 50, probably 100 artists and creatives. So once you click, anyone who clicks on that link or that video, it could start playing there. And if it does, just click through it to get to the whole playlist and that whole YouTube channel that is full of amazing interviews with amazing artists. My brother-in-law, Lord Yada, he's one of the people who has an interview there also. So yeah, I'm very proud of that, and that's why it's very prominent on my website. If you scroll
That's
down a little
fantastic.
further, then thank you. On the left-hand side is my Behance portfolio, where I encourage artists to have a free portfolio um, profile on Behance. It's free to join and just start setting up your portfolio. And that's one of my mentors. That's actually that picture is one of my mentors. His name is W, and he's been instrumental in sharing some of his creative knowledge with me and telling me about what I could do, should try just to see what happens. And so I brought him into a podcast that I produce dealing with vector art because he's a vector artist also. And vector is just a particular type of art style, digital. And so that's an illustration of him. In the middle is a image of and a link to a project that I worked on that W, my mentor, brought me into so that I can create some artwork for this art installation called Art Beats and Lyrics. It's been around for 15 years, or it's 2005, I think, 2000, before 2005, I forget the year. And it's sponsored by Jack Daniels. There's a Hulu and a YouTube documentary about art beats and lyrics. You should check it out. To give me and Lord Yada a shout out. So that's what that is in the middle, and on the right is one of my murals that I was working on in Underground Atlanta. Yeah, that's
That's
it. And so
fantastic.
once you click on it, you get to see a whole lot of stuff in there. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, we're going to go down to this last one here.
Yeah, and you can tell I like to talk, right? I've been talking nonstop. All Tony ever says is like fantastic, and here's another question, and let Dan talk. I gotta talk, man. And so that's some of the podcasts I've been on as a guest, and I also have recorded my own podcast. I've interviewed tons of artists. I have 100 interviews on iTunes. Is the Artist King podcast. And so on the right side, I'm holding a microphone, yelling into it, and I think that hat says Art Life, and this hat says DTM. But yes, that's it. I'm very much comfortable living and breathing arts every day.
Yes, fantastic. Let's go down to the connect with DTM
Yeah.
here. So these are the social
Yes.
media platforms that you are a part of, or
Yes.
these.
Anytime I hear about an app, yeah, I make sure that I get the Creative Genius or Delta Tango Mike. So you connect with me, find me, follow, like, leave me messages, tag me in your work. I like to collaborate with artists. As a matter of fact, right now I'm collaborating with two artists on two different projects that have to do with art. It's just illustration work, and I like that because it keeps you learning new things and it keeps you engaged with the arts community. And so having these links is important to me to make sure that people can find me, connect, we can grow together, build together. And lastly, you see the list of clients that I've worked with. I
Yes,
was just at Adobe Max
yeah,
a
we want to
couple of weeks
show
ago,
these
and I
clients.
was on stage.
Yeah, and I do want to talk about Adobe. So let's talk about Adobe now. I'm going to stop the screen share
All right. Mm-hmm.
and let's talk about Adobe. So
Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it.
okay, so I saw that you were at an Adobe event, and can you talk about what you were doing
Yeah,
and you had a
let's see.
nice crowd of people around you as you were talking, and so
Yes. Yes. So Adobe Max is the once a year conference, big conference that and they do it more than once a year, but there's a major one once a year. I think they're doing Tokyo next year, and they've done Europe, the UK, early this year. But the one that the big Adobe Max that everyone's very familiar with, if you know who the company that makes Photoshop and Illustrator is Adobe. And so they have this big conference, and that's all they talk about is all the different updates to all the different apps. It's like over 20 apps in Adobe, and my favorite one is Illustrator. My next favorite one
of
is
course,
Fresco and Photoshop, right? Illustrator, yes, because I do illustrations. I'm an illustrator myself, and so I'm very much interested in what goes on with Adobe and the updates. And so in 2018, I was in LA for the conference. I was part of Cinemaker, which is something you wanted to talk about also. And so I was out there with Cinemaker and hanging out in Adobe Max. And then 2020, I was invited to be a guest speaker so, but that was during the lockdown, so everything was online. So I had to record myself and do my presentations and so on. And then this year, I was invited to come to Adobe Max as a Adobe community expert. And what that means is that you're the kind of person who has answers for the Adobe community, who has questions about Premiere, Illustrator, Express, whatever different apps that you're using. There's an expert for it. And like I said, I don't have any certifications, so everything I know is because I've done it and I know how to share and talk about it. And while I was once I got the okay to that I was going to Adobe Max, another friend of mine who was doing a presentation at Adobe Max reached out to me asking me if I wanted to participate in this talk. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Sure, why not? I'm gonna be there. And so they invited me on stage to talk about how to future-proof your art career. I was like, perfect. I love talking about art and the art life. And so it was only, but they only had 8 minutes to talk. That's it. So you got to get to the point. And so there was 3 different days of 3 different speakers each day talking about the same topic, but they all had their own answer. And the very
Okay.
first day, two of the people who were on stage said the same thing that I was going to say.
Oh,
But my
wow.
talk was not until the third day. And so on the second day, I was not happy about having heard what I heard because I was going to say something similar. So on the second day, I was thinking, well, I'm going to change what I'm going to say, my answer. So on the third day, right before I went on stage, the two people before me, the one first person, and then there was second, and I was a third. The first person went up and they said the things that I was going to say. And I was like, oh my God, how can I make my talk stand out when, but I had already thought of a plan. And my plan was to get on stage, say what I was going to say, and then invite people for that come to Jesus moment, right? And
Okay.
bro, the whole day leading up to my talk, anytime I was talking to somebody, I would tell them, listen, I want you to come to my talk. And when I do the asking people to come up, I want you to come up, please. I was trying to convince people to make sure that they were going to come up because I didn't want to be out there saying, hey, come on up. And then nobody comes up. That
Right.
kind of messes up the So, so yeah, so that man, I had a lot of fun. A lot of people came up. We had a great discussion, and my topic, like it was about how to future-proof your art career. And my answer is community. And this is what you're doing, and I do a lot. And we just went through my website, and you saw the podcast, and it is that community, engaging with your community, building with your community. That's how you create a long-lasting career because you're in the middle of it, you're there, you're participating. And so I had a good time talking about it. I got loud with it. I went, I think, over the 8 minutes. I think I got to 9 minutes, and but it was we had a good time. And one of the people who got up on stage was a photographer. He's super amazing, and so he took that picture of me where I had my arm out and I was holding the microphone, and I was like, yeah, yeah, I like that community.
That's fantastic. So speaking of community, let's talk about your Discord.
Yes, yes. So there's been a lot of social medias, and I started in MySpace, and then you get to, you have five favorite friends, and you get to know people on the internet. And as time's gone on, there's been another social media, another, Facebook, Tumblr, you know, um, Twitter, the Vine. Instagram, just always something, something, something. And so with Facebook, we have groups. So I started a couple of groups. They still exist. I still engage with a few people here and there. And because I stream all the time, 3 times a week, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, I stream on Behance, on YouTube, different places. And so the people in the chat would ask me, hey, what's your Discord? And I'm like, yeah, I heard of Discord. I think I was in a couple of Discords already. But I kept thinking that's a lot of work. I'm gonna have to like set it up and moderate and all these things. Well, right before the lockdown and the pandemic started, I started the Discord. I said, let me do it. And because I had been streaming for so long already, there were people in the chat that were catching my live streams every time I went live that wanted to participate. They wanted to help grow the community that we had started to build. And I said, let's do it. I'm all about seeing the next artist succeed and find their passion and make it a go in their life. And so we started the Discord. It's called Sketching and Drawing because that's what it's about. It's about art and giving a chance to any emerging artist to join us, come and hang out, share their. There it is. That's the Discord. Yep, share, and you can see that's my manifesto that we're here to support each other. We're here to encourage each other and give each other some resources and advice whenever possible. And this is something that you're going to find that I say a lot is that I don't have any products to sell. I'm not selling books or programs or courses or anything. I don't sell anything. I'm not selling anything to the community. The community, I'm here to share what I know so that the next person who decides they want to make art their career can also do what they want to do with their art and find their success. Because I found my success, and before me, there was many other artists who found their success. And so, if those of us who've done it can do it, then you can do it too. And that's what the Discord is about. Sketching and drawing. That's where it starts.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic. And you also do you stream from day to day on your Discord as well. Is that right?
Yes, and so my process has been to share what I know with the with my Discord community. We have like 1,000 members, something like that. And 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 I feel like I don't want people to miss out on the information. So I stream to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Behance, Twitch, and Discord. And so that if you catch the live stream, then you get to engage and talk, and I can see the messages and I can see the um, comments and respond to them while we're live. But I make sure that it's streamed and saved so that if somebody's looking for an answer and they type in a question and my video comes up, then I want them to learn whatever it is that I was sharing. So having the Discord and streaming into the Discord is really essential in making sure that those who come to get close to you get information, get feedback that they can then build on from there for their own life.
And I just want to say, you don't have to be an artist to be a part of his Discord because Tony Mobley, who has no art talent at all, is a part of his Discord.
All
And
right, there
so,
you go.
I'm just going to be frank. I like looking at all of the great artwork that your members are sharing. And it's really. Um, I saw some work by our mutual friend uh, Tamika Grooms,
Mm-hmm.
who was
Mm-hmm.
on Conversation with Tony Mobley a while ago, and it's just some amazing artwork on there. So if you if you just want to be nosy like me and just get a chance to look at some of the artwork that people are creating as a part of Dance Discord, feel free to go to it and join.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yes,
won't he
yes,
won't
check it.
he won't kick you out if you're not an
Mm,
artist. You can
right. No, no.
you can watch.
Hmm.
And so I want
Yep.
to
And,
say
and
thank
Tamika's
you
been,
for
like you said, she was in just to add to what you said about Tamika, she was been in our Discord since the beginning. She started her own Discord also, and we've had many conversations about her career path to the point that she's doing it. Like she's actually doing it now, getting publishing deals, doing illustrations for children's book, and doing interviews with you, but also like throughout the industry, she is really following her passion, and it's amazing to see. It feels good to see artists succeed.
yes, I wanna get her back on to show us what she's working on now, what book she's working on now. So hopefully she'll do that.
Yes.
Clallic Lopez Waterman is back again. How do you build prices for your work?
Mm,
As an artist slash lighting designer, I have had to work on what my art is worth and not undersell myself.
right, right. It's the answer to that, it's like a big equation on the board that only can be solved by the janitor of the college. What's that movie called? I forgot. It has Jason Bourne in it, Matt Damon. And that's it. It's a big formula that that it takes a while to decipher. But it's possible. And you know, in my case, well, there's a formula, and the formula includes the marketplace, the industry you're in, your position in the market, your position in the industry, how well you're known, the quality of your work, who have you worked with before, which is one of the reasons why I encourage artists to have mentors. I have mentors. I mentor other artists so that they learn. I've learned from the experience of others, and other artists learn from my experience so they can then understand their position and what it means to be a full-time artist or a working artist. And so those are some of the basics that where it starts, right? It starts right there. However, I do not like the industry to dictate what I'm worth or what I should be charging. I don't like the society and their exploitation methods of how they exploit artists to dictate what I should be charging. So what I like to do is make sure that, like I mentioned earlier, you look up the Creative Genius or Delta Tango Mike and you see all my work. My work speaks for itself. My live streams speak for themselves. They speak for me, right? That's my brand. That's my marketing. That's my bragging. So by the time I engage in a conversation with somebody about a project, they already know I'm qualified. They already know I'm good at it. They already know I'm going to produce. And so puts me in a position where I have a little bit more leverage than coming into a meeting asking them to take a chance on me. And it is at
Right.
that point that then you can start making your prices to be what you need them to be for you to survive as a working artist. And so a lot of times when it comes down to conversations with clients, I have to make sure that they already seen my work. They've talked to somebody. This is where references are important, reviews, etc. They've talked to somebody who's told them all about me. Liberty White has been one of those people who's bragged about me to someone else, and then by the time that someone else comes to me, they're ready to make a deal. They're ready to pay my price, And so it takes the basics of the formula to figure out what you should be charging, but it also takes this other part of you that you're gonna have to brag. We call it storytelling. They call it branding, and the saying is, you don't get paid what you're worth. You get paid what you negotiate. And so you have
Mm.
to understand negotiations. You have to understand how to talk about yourself, how to talk with someone, and understand the words they're using to then use the words that you need them to understand that stand for things that they can see and feel, so that then things become clearer. We cannot use words that, like work hard. What's it take to be Tony Mobley? Well, you got to work hard. Okay, I'm working hard, but you may be working on the wrong thing. You have to use words that stand for something, that are very clear, so that you can then get the attention of the person you're negotiating with, and they can be like, deal, let's do it. I'm in. Let's go. So now you're charging what you need to charge to pay your bills, to live your life. That's the beauty of doing doing work that's your passion that you get paid for. Is not just to work minimum wage doing the thing you like to do. If I like to do lighting, and I did see Tlaloc's profile earlier before we went live. I was looking through his Google searches results. He's worked on a lot of great projects. So he didn't just start lighting because, hey, that's the job. And, I walked up to the corner of my neighborhood and they, hey, we need a lighting guy. Hey, can you do it? Like, sure, hold the light. There's a light right here. Is no, he did it because he really likes it. He enjoys it. He's good at it. And so then that is where you have to start from that position. I want you to see my greatness and pay me for it. And it has to pay you enough, like I was saying, to pay your life, pay for your life, pay for your bills, not just pay you enough so that you keep coming back week after week to get another check to that barely make it. Now we need to charge enough to pay your bills, feel comfortable, take vacations, have life insurance, dental health insurance, all those things, and go out to dinner once in a while. So I don't know, it's a long story. It's a long story.
Oh, it's great information, and I'm sure that people, not just in the art industry, but in other industries, can feel free to take on the things that you've shared because that can
Mhm,
be replicated in a variety of different avenues. So, career
mhm.
paths. So thank you for
Yes.
sharing that. Um, the next question is, what is your preferred medium for your artwork?
Hmm. For myself, and the art I like to do is the pencil. Pencil is my preferred, most favorite tool and medium. And it's because that's what I started with. Any artist talking about they want to learn how to draw and they want to get good at it, give them a pencil. All right, well, here you go. A number two pencil, you can buy 20 of them for $10, $5. I don't know. They're cheap. You walk up to the lottery stand, they got free pencils right there, right? And all you need is some paper. And now you're drawing, you're creating. It doesn't take much. It just takes your time, leveling up your skills, building that talent. And so to me, that's like the big denominator. What do you call it? The denominator. There's a whole word. The uh, for the word denominator. Anyways, it's the common denominator. That's it.
Common denominator.
Everybody
Okay.
has access to a pencil. Everybody can do drawings if they just grab a number two pencil. And so to me, man, if you do a search for pencil artists, you're gonna see so many different art styles, so many outcomes for the type of art that people can do with just with the same piece of graphite. Very same piece. There's different qualities of pencils. There are $10 pencils. I own some of those. There's, 50 cent, 25-cent pencils. I own some of those too. And then there's tons of coloring pencils. And all of those are great for drawing. Different artists will get different results, but it's like you take this one medium and you can have a wide range of looks and styles. It's amazing what people can do. So yeah, number one of all, and I have tons of drawings to prove it. The pencil.
A pencil. Now let's talk about some of the other, because we know you use the Surface.
Yes, I have a Surface right here. This is my baby right here. Look at this. Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Yeah. Yeah, it's got the little kickstand. Well, let me brag on my Surface.
So besides the Surface, are there any iOS?
Yes. I'm what you call agnostic. Give me a Mac, give me a PC, give me Android, give me whatever you got. I will take it and I will draw with it. So I have Wacom tablets, Huon tablets, the Surface tablets. I have an Android, a Tab S8 tablet. I use any app that I can get a hold of. I use apps on my phone. I have several phones. I have an iPhone 7 that has that the push you can push on the screen, and I forget that what that technology was called, and then they got rid of it. And so and you can use a pen, a regular stylus, and get pressure sensitivity on it because of the way the phone works. And it's not about the stylus, it's about the phone. And you can't get that on the I have the iPhone 11. You can't. That's not going to happen on the iPhone 11 or any iPhone outside of the 7. And so I like finding ways. I'm a hoarder, so I have several Surface, different models. And I like finding ways, well, how can I use this thing to produce the things that I like to do? It's great to have the latest technology. It's nice to have um, the nicest iPad and Surface and Huon and Wacom. But at the end of the day, is that can I create something with it? So I'm very much open to any and all gifts anybody wants to send me to create more art. And so that
All
includes
right.
iPads, iPhones, everything else.
That is an open invitation. If you want to send Dan Flores a medium, he will take it and make some art with it. So
That's
let's
correct.
do that. All
Hmm.
right. And so we're getting down to our last few questions, but before we go there, I wondered if you would share with us about your NFT projects, the things that you're doing with NFTs.
Yes. All right, cool. Yes, yeah, NFTs are a medium of art in digital objects and things. I'm sure there's a better word for that. And people collect them. And I never really thought about much of it, but if you ever play video games, you collect stuff in video games. You collect if you're into the quest kind of video games, or you're gonna collect things for your characters. And I like racing games, I like fighting games. So you collect championships and racing trophies and so on. And so an NFT is similar to that in real life. You're collecting digital things. And so when people were talking about art as a digital, owning it digitally, I was like, interesting. Tell me more about that. I have a friend. His name is Tom LaRock. He lives in Miami, and he's deep into NFTs and crypto and AI. And he always coming to tell me about what's going on, what's happening, what should I be doing? Should I try this? Should I try that? And half the time, I just listen, and I don't feel like doing it. And then the other half, like, interesting. I may check that out. And so I thought of an NFT collection idea, and again reaching into my Mexican Chicano culture, I started to make some characters, and I don't have any of those in here right now.
Oh, I
That
think I might
were
have some. Let me see
the
if I can
Scully,
pull the.
the Scully series, yeah. And
I
so
think.
I started to draw these characters. They're iconic characters and from games, movies, TVs, animation, and but as a skull because Mexicans we all have skulls. Skull is part of our tradition, and we just had the Day of the Dead recently. So growing up Mexican, you skulls are a normal part of life and growing up Mexican. And so like, let's make some skulls, let's make some characters. And so before I knew it, I was making them on my live streams. Other artists decided that they wanted to participate. And so when I did my first NFT collection, I became an NFT artist, NFT collector, crypto collector. And then as time went on, I helped other artists on board to crypto, to NFTs, to collecting and making NFT work. That's a nastic piece. It is the Ogin, which stands for movement. We're in the fifth era or the fifth sun, and that's what it stands for. Um, and then that's these are not part of the NFT collections, but I actually made NFTs out of these, and these were part of that art installation that went up on the belt line. That's part of the big banner, and then I broke up the pieces and like, hey, let's make them NFTs. So to me, NFTs is just another way to put my art out there, have somebody else collect it. They can collect the physical copy, they can collect the sticker, they can collect the merchandise, they can collect the banner, they can collect the art installation, or they can collect the NFT and have it right there for themselves anytime they want to see it. Yes, there it is. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool, huh? And that's me. Jumping into battle with some pencils.
All right, all right. And that's
And
the
that's
banner.
yes, the banner. Yes, that was 36 feet long, 8 feet tall, and done in Illustrator and Adobe Fresco with vector brushes. And vector is just a file type that you can create artwork in. And when you stretch out that artwork to whatever size you want, it still looks sharp and clean versus pixel art or raster that when you blow it up, you start seeing pixelation and or pixels or the squares, you start seeing those squares and that's ugly because it's fuzzy, not this. And the copy you have is a JPEG, but I have the vector file and I've reused that artwork over and over and over in many different ways. It's
That's
beautiful.
fantastic.
Hmm. And that's my surface guy. His name is Sketchy. He carries a pencil ready to draw. He carries a surface under his arm, and his head is a surface.
That's
I don't know where how I
fantastic.
come up with these ideas. I think they're cool. And
Well, it
so
is cool. It's very cool.
I am
Yes.
I'm trying to get Microsoft to come on in and let's make a comic book together.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. And I want to let you know that you have done a little bit of stretching for me in terms of this is the first time that I've actually tried to share something while I was on conversation with Tony Mobley. So I want to say thank you for the opportunity for me to stretch and do something that I'm not really comfortable with, but because
Hmm.
I wanted people to see some of the things that you are doing, I had to do a little stretching today. And so
Nice.
the we have like maybe we get three last questions, and I'm going to try to get through them. This is our lightning round. So,
Okay. I'll
are
I'll
there
answer them
any
fast. Go ahead.
are there any projects that you can talk about? Any
Yes,
new
I
project?
could talk about a lot of projects. Visual Artworks is my brand name that I'm using for comics, animation, and games. I'm working on a few animations, like I mentioned earlier, but I also have other projects that are the art life includes a gorilla and a couple other characters. They all do art. And then Sketchy, the Sketchyverse. That's a whole nother project right there. And I'm slowly building through them little by little.
Fantastic. Thank you. And I know I say fantastic because it's fantastic to me. So what's next for Daniel Flores or DTM?
Next is a big sponsorship deal where I can finish these personal projects and get them out to the world. And I need that runway, you know? If I could have enough of a runway, I don't need to take on client work. I can just focus on this. I can finish a full animation film. I can finish a full game. I have several game ideas. That's really where my passion lies. I want to just draw the things that I like to draw. That's what's next.
All right. And so the last question, and you might remember this from the last time.
Okay.
You are speaking to the world. What do you want the world to know?
To stay creative, have fun. You know, even as artists, we find the job we like and start doing art for pay and you get paid and you know you get to live a life. But that means that you're drawing now on projects for someone else for 8 hours a day. You know, and you've heard of these stories about animation and movies and so on, where, you know, the artists are working 10, 16-hour days trying to put out a project. And so people get burned out. I got burned out many years ago. And so I think the only thing that brought me back to art is like, wait a minute, I had a goal in life. I wanted to do art because I felt good about it. And so it's really easy to get attached to doing art to make money, and that's how you earn a living. And then you forget to have fun. So, you know, explore your creativity, new things, try things that you've already done before, but look at them in a way as for fun. This is for fun. And we talked about this doodling. Doodle, just doodle and have fun. Let's see what happens.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being with me today. Thank you so much. We want to say thank you to Dan again. And we want to say thank you to you who are watching on
Mhm.
YouTube or our website, conversationwithtonymobley.com. Conversation with Tony Mobley is produced by valued audio visual professionals who meet daily on Office Hours Global, hosted by Alex Lindsay. And I'm going to make a little
Mhm.
correction. So, Office Hours has grown to where Alex is not the only host. Our own Liberty White is one of the hosts, and we have CJ Cavell, and we have several others who hosts on, but Alex is the leader of Office Hours Global. So I did want to just share that. We want to say thank you to Mimo Live. This conversation is powered by Mimo Live. We have conversations with real people. We want you to stay tuned for new episodes and great conversations with Tony Mobley. We want to say to you, thank you for everyone who have watched our 100 plus episodes of Conversation with Tony Mobley, and we hope that you'll look at them and maybe you'll find something that might be helpful to you. Again, we want to say thank you to Dan for being a part of our conversation today and for doing the work you do and for being the person who you are. And so we want you to stay tuned for the announcement of the next conversation with Tony Mobley. And it will be something that you definitely don't want to miss. So stay tuned. We'll be back soon. And we're going to say good night to everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Take care. God bless. Bye bye.